Alright guys, Captain Cutlass here, and I'm making this video because the guy I built the 354, he's putting it together, and I had mentioned to him I got a little trick I like to do. It's not really a trick, you can buy a kit to do this yourself, but it makes life easier. If you're an olds guy and you got full length headers, then you know putting the starter in is a son of a bitch. Especially if you have a full-sized GM style starter. So Summit sells these little kits to do a quick disconnect, and it uses a GM style weather pack. It's got your 3 wires, your main battery cable, your run wire to activate the solenoid, and then you got your or your start wire, I should say, and your run wire for your points if you run points. I believe it's for points. I've never ran points, but I'm pretty positive the run wire is for powering up the points. Either way, I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, so I used to buy these, but they never really fit good on the stock starter, especially for the Oldsmobile. And you can see the case actually kind of melted, and I broke it so that it would fit, and then I zip tied it. And that worked for years, but they're cheap, and these terminals ended up like frying apart. So what I like to do is, you can do this yourself. If you have an Oldsmobile, you have the nice convenience, I'll show you guys, of having these plastic wheel liners. Well, they sell remote battery junction terminals, like from All-Star Motorsports or Performance. But I just drove in a 3/8/16 bolt. And you can see where I have my main battery lead going to the battery, which is in the positive. And then I have the other wire going down to the starter. And then I have a lead going directly to the alternator, which is how it's supposed to be for the PowerMaster. So why does this matter? Well, if you ever have to drop the starter, guess what? You don't have to disconnect that battery lead underneath the car. You do it up top. You just loosen this nut up, you take out your battery cable for the starter, boom, that one's done. Now what about the run wire or the start wire? Well, on this one, I got it on a single GM weather pack. I bought the kit from All-Star, I wired it up myself. And then the other nice thing about this is you can use this same wire to remotely start your car from underneath the hood. You just put in a little cotter pin in there, and then you put it to your 12-volt source, and boom, you can start the car from underneath the hood without having to buy a special tool to do that, or having somebody start it if you're working solo. So that's another nice, neat little trick you can do if you do that. And these weather pack kits are pretty easy to do, and you can buy them pretty cheap. They're only a couple bucks each. So for me, I have a mini starter, but it still sucks to wire up a starter underneath the car. So anytime you can remotely wire in a starter, especially like this, guess what? All your connections are done underneath the hood, not underneath the car. So all you have to do is disconnect your 2 wires, in my case, because I only have the start and the battery wire, loosen up my header, because even though I got a mini starter, I still have to loosen up the header on the driver's side. I showed you the passenger side header, so I know that. But you loosen up the header, move it out of the way, you do your 2 9/16 3/8 thread bolts, drop it down, and you're done. And that's it. It makes life easier. You're not struggling underneath there to wire it up, and then the wires might be close, so you got to loosen it and move it. So it just makes life easier. And I hope that helps you guys out there. If anybody's got an Oldsmobile and a full-size starter, that's the easiest way to do it. For stock guys, this probably won't be something that will fly because you want the stock appearance. But for most hot rodders, it's a nice little trick. I don't see a lot of guys doing it. Obviously, high-end race cars, everybody's got that stuff on there because everything's got to come off quick in the event of a repair. So for me, it's just ease of accessibility. I have a bad back, so anything I can do to help me work less underneath the car or leaning over a car, I have gone above and beyond to make sure everything can come apart on this car really easy. So that's just one of the things I do, and hopefully that helps Eric wire his up the way I did, and hopefully it helps you guys out there if you got your own setup that you'd like to do and you hate wiring it under the car. Again guys, that's my little tip today. It's Sunday, didn't have a whole lot going on working on the plumbing at the house, so I did clean up the garage, the big blocks up on the shelf. If anybody out there is interested in a set of fresh number 8 heads, I got the ones we took from that running 350 in the video earlier on in the spring. Somebody can have them for free if they need them. I just need to you just need to pay for shipping, but they work very well. No leaks, no nothing. It didn't, when I ran the engine, the video's on my page. You guys can check it out. It's that 75 350 or 76 with the number 8 heads or whatever it was. So guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Copper Cutlass, YouTube, Copper Cutlass, and Facebook, Copper's Garage.